Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to go over the Uranium Daily Technical Analysis Update. We're going to go in there and I'll give you my opinion. It looks like we've got some selling pressure just by looking at Uranium off to the right-hand side here. So I haven't looked at these charts yet. This is my first time today looking at these charts, and I will give you my opinion on what potentially can happen just based off of the candlestick buying and selling pressure and some of the patterns. So let's dive in. I'll give you my opinion. The Sprott Physical Uranium Trust is basically just moving sideways. I would say that this is bullish. The reason I say this is bullish is because the sellers would have wanted. So we have broken to the upside of the pattern. We're chopping sideways and we're waiting for buyers to come in and push it higher. I don't think the sellers are really there. Conversely, looking at some of the other companies and the ETF, there's selling pressure here. I don't like, the big selling pressure back here. I was talking about it earlier. This guy here. So what you want to see is if there's good buying pressure, you'd come up and then you'd see this small leak off of sellers. It kind of just leaks down like this. And then you see another run up. What I see in this pattern here is it goes to run up, but it gets stopped by selling pressure this day here, which is a bearish piercing pattern. We tried running up again and it sold off with some good selling pressure. We tried running up again and we had a sharp reversal day right here where it reversed, it went up, reversed lower, and then we had a big sell-off that next day. I said, this doesn't look right. I think we're heading lower. So we've been heading lower. We still have strong selling pressure today, and we're looking for buyers. And the one thing I will tell you guys is this could be a little bit larger pullback that we may experience in the short term. If we back out, let's go to the 5. This is a weekly candlestick basis. We are blowing through this support line to the downside. There may be more downside left in it. Again, I have no crystal ball. And the next support line, I think, is kind of down here in the 65, 66 range if we continue lower, which is a good possibility. When looking at this chart, I'm seeing large selling pressure here. There's more selling pressure here that's left in it. It's a bearish engulfing on the weekly candlestick, and we may go a little bit lower. Now, keep in mind, I'm not trading in and out of this. That is not what I am doing. I would be an accumulator down here if you see a reversal candlestick pattern like a hammer pattern where the stock trades lower, it comes back up, and let's say it creates a pattern where it looks like a hammer, and then we're going to head higher. Problem is, I haven't seen it yet. I can't trade something that I don't see, and I don't make forecasts or predictions. We know uranium's of good value. We know that the sector is quite cheap in relationship to other assets. So I'm just waiting for a bottom. Bannerman, it's holding on. Yeah, it's down a little bit today, but it's holding on a weekly candlestick. Let's look at the dailies. It's coming down a little bit. It's got support underneath it at about 17 cents. There's also more support. Yeah, I'd say 16, 17 cents is a really strong support area. Goviak's getting a little bit of selling pressure. It's following to the T where I put my drawing here. It's actually to the T on it. And we'll see if it comes back up. I would like to see a reversal candlestick instead of kind of a normal candlestick here. I wish I saw a wick at the bottom where it came back and pushed higher. But we're coming up to support. We may go a little bit lower, maybe tomorrow, and look for a reversal candlestick. Global Atomic, yeah, we're selling off a little bit. We're starting to get below this support line. It's got a little bit of volume behind it, not a ton, but a little bit. Will this come back up into the channel or into the pattern? Let's find out tomorrow. But if we sell off, we may see a further sell-off. Backing out here, the problem with ripping higher so quickly is sometimes you get, it can come back down quite quickly as well. Looking at this, you can kind of see almost a shoulder head type shoulder movement where we could head a little bit lower. It could head quite a bit lower if we get some steam and a sell-off. It's a possibility. Thesis metals, again, a little bit more of a sell-off today, 2.09% down. We're looking at the bottom of this guy for support, and hopefully we can find some support quite quickly. Pure Point Uranium, we're just chopping sideways. Not much to say there. Deep Yellow, I think they may have released some news today. Hammer candlestick, which means we could potentially go higher. If the overall sector is quite weak, I don't know if Deep Yellow is going to buck that trend. It did today with the news, but I don't know if it's going to remain. You know, I think if the red's coming, if the Red Sea's coming for everything, it's going to come for everything. It's going to be swimming upstream. Paladin Energy getting a little bit more of a sell-off today. A little bit of volume behind it, minus 1.7%. Sky Harbor selling off today. We were up there. We're falling back below this line, and hopefully we can stay up here within the channel, so to speak. Next Gen Energy selling off a little bit. I don't know if this is going to hold on or not. It looks like we're going to be testing this lower line here as support. So we'll see if support holds. If we blow through it to the downside, I think we're going to see further downside. And we may see a return move here where we get a return move somewhere back here. Can Alaska getting its sell-off today. Again, it's got a lot of selling pressure here. We'll see what happens if this support line can hold underneath it. Baseload also feeling some selling pressure, down 5%. This is a bearish engulfing. We knew it was going to go down, and we're at support again. So hopefully we can get some support here and head on higher. Fission 3.0, a little bit of selling pressure again. I don't like seeing like a shoulder head type shoulder movement where we could head a little bit lower, almost like this is a correction. We're going into a correction phase from a Elliott wave standpoint. Maybe we'll see. And usually when you see a stock wanting to go lower, you'll see like a bearish engulfing like this, and that could trigger a little bit more of a sell-off. But that bearish engulfing means we could potentially head lower if the support doesn't hold. Camco down 4.3%. And it's got a lot of selling pressure in here. I think the potential to go lower is there. The selling pressure is strong. It finished strong. Buyers aren't there, guys. What I see are sellers. Kazatomprom, KAP, looking at that chart there. If it decides to come on up, we've pulled on back. Lots of selling pressure. We're just chopping sideways at the moment. Peninsula Energy, again, we're chopping sideways. A little bit of selling pressure. We bounced off this resistance area. Boss Energy, sideways, which is decent. Looks like Lotus Resources is starting to fail and head back lower. So it gave us the opportunity of a breakout, a back test, and it's failing now. So your stop should be hit if you're a trader, and this could potentially head lower given today's selling pressure. Uroy, it's holding on, guys. Man, everything's just barely holding on. It is barely holding on. What I don't like is this high here, lower high here. I don't like these three candlesticks in here of bearish engulfing, bearish piercing. To me, it says to me that we want to head lower. It's a lot of selling pressure that's still in this stock. Encore Energy getting sold off. A little bit of wick at the bottom. Hopefully we can get a little bit of buying pressure in here. Save this thing from a steeper downtrend. But I can tell you it doesn't look great. UU is going down at the moment, 6.85%. I see a shoulder, head, shoulder, with a neckline going across here. I think the potential move, if we were to see a move here, and you guys aren't going to like this, I'm sorry. It could be down to 430 or something like that. You could see a larger pullback here. If this shoulder head shoulder plays out the way that I see it. So look for support down here in this kind of channel. Maybe we hit the channel line and hold, or maybe we go a little bit lower. But right now, I'm seeing a lot of selling pressure. URG, again, a little bit of selling pressure today. We're probably going to head back lower to this support line down there. Unless the buyers step in here, guys. I just don't see the buyers. They're not there. They're not showing up. There's no footprint of buyers in these things here. And if anything, if you look, when these things slant upward like this, like that, what that is it's a flag pattern to go lower. So this is a flag pattern to head lower. And we're seeing that the selling pressure in this is still here. That's a bearish engulfing. That says we are going lower. And we're going lower. So we still have selling pressure in the short term in these stocks. LEU, it's hanging on barely. LTBR, looks like we're heading lower on LTBR. The support line or the movement is to the downside at this point. ISENF, it looks like we're heading lower, guys, and this could drop a good amount, a fair amount. We do have support here. We'll see if this support holds going across at 246. That's below it. So that'll be our first stop, and we'll have to reevaluate to see what happens there. Appia rare earth metals, again, we are right at the tip. We'll see which way this thing goes. If I were to guess, I would guess lower just because of the other uranium stocks. And it depends if this trades like a uranium versus a rare earth element. Difficult to say. Denison Mines, yeah, it's heading lower. Good, strong selling pressure today. I don't think that's turning around anytime soon, at least not yet. This one does look like it's heading lower. If you put it like this, you could say that this is like a flag pattern that's breaking to the downside. It's a ascending wedge that just broke to the downside today. So we could see further downside in blue sky uranium. Forum Energy Metals, again, the whole sector's coming under a lot of selling pressure, so we could see further downside. Anfield Energy, a little bit of a downside today. It's still looking okay, though. Laramide putting in a bearish engulfing. That does not look good to me. I think we're going to break to the downside if the sellers want to come in here and womp this. I think they might be successful. Western Uranium and Vanadium Corp, yeah, it broke to the downside, but it's just hanging on at the moment. UEXCF, not looking good. Bearish engulfing. This is probably going to head lower in the short term, guys. Not looking good. And then we've got Mega Uranium. If we were to draw in kind of a pattern here, that's the long-term pattern. We're getting a little bit of selling pressure. We're still above all this garbage up here, so that one's still looking okay. But overall, I mean, the sector doesn't look too hot in the short term. What would I do? What would I do here? I'm not going to do anything. I've bought these for a reason. My holding period, my time frame is a 5 to 10 year hold. In the short term, though, it does look like we could continue to pull back by looking at the selling pressure in the candlesticks and the relationship of the buyers and sellers. And what I've looked at in history and seen all these charts, it still looks like there's selling pressure in these companies. Does that mean you should sell? No, because the short term is difficult to read. It's the least reliable way to read this. So what I do is I don't try to predict the short term. And in here, what I'm telling you is there is short-term sellers in here. There's pressure to the downside. Could this turn around quite quickly? It could. But the candlesticks are showing that this is turning. And I'm gonna show you in Mega Uranium here. I just started looking at it. And I can tell you this is what I think is going to happen. And I think we're going to go lower in Mega too. Bearish engulfing, bearish piercings, bearish engulfing, bearish engulfing, bearish engulfing. See those? If I scroll to the right-hand side, so it's selling pressure, selling pressure, selling pressure, selling pressure, selling pressure. We pull back. We come back up, try to break through it. What do we get? Selling pressure, selling pressure, selling pressure, selling pressure. These are all selling pressures in here. We came back down and we're like, okay, we can't go up there. There's too much selling pressure. We gathered ourselves up. We're trying to break to the upside and we're going to try again. But there's a lot of selling pressure up here. It's all over the place. The sellers have marked their territory. They peed all over the top of this pattern and they're there. And I can see the pee is everywhere. It's all over the top of this pattern. It's all yellow. It's stained. So that's what I'm seeing. Whenever you see those big bearish engulfings, they stack up at certain spots, you got a whole bunch of selling pressure. And we're seeing it in all the charts. So this isn't like it's one company that it's confined to. We also see in some of the patterns ascending wedges. We see patterns that are coming down, ascending wedge, which is a flag pattern to have a little bit more downside. So what I'm doing is I'm not doing anything. I'm not selling my shares. I would be looking to buy when this thing bottoms out. And then I'll take my position. But to try to play this to the nth degree, I think it's really hard. And there's times where I got left out during the last bull market where things turned around much quicker than I thought. I thought I was playing it good. I didn't get back in. And these volatile companies can move so quickly, so fast, and reverse so abruptly that I think timing them is going to be very difficult. So I take the stance, and this is just me personally, this is my financial opinion, is I sit in them, I wait for it to pull back, the valuations are good, the thesis for the uranium sector is awesome, and the market conditions are good. We've got inflation coming in. This will blow up to the upside. The short term, though, I see selling pressure. So that's what I've got, and we're probably in a corrective consolidation phase. So we've had a big move up. We're going to consolidate for a little bit, and then we'll see a big move higher. If you guys like this analysis, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.